What up, family? It's your boy CJ the Creator, also Fit with CJ on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Pinterest. We're here to talk about how much money do content creators make. This is going to be based off a content creators report that has just been released by later.com. So it's going to be super, super important for you guys to tap in today's episode. We're going to be talking about how much everybody on here that's watching right now is a content creator, most likely. You either making content for your fitness business or for your entrepreneur. Very few of my followers in the audience are not creating content. So let's just get into nitty gritty. This is going to be a two-part series, right? This is built off of an article from later.com, a report that comes out every single year and talks about what content creators make. So let's get right into it. Starting out, there's part-time content creators and then there's full-time content creators. There's some full-time content creators who literally make six, seven figures every single year, right? You may be surprised, like, man, I can't believe these people making this much money. Let's get into this report, right? So, based off the report, in 2022, Later.com conducted a survey newsletter over multiple channels to see how much money content creators were making, right? So here's a breakdown of what it was. I think it was like 518 top content creators that responded in this survey, right? So out of the 518 of them, 26 of them were considered full time. What does that mean, full time content creator? So, what that means is that by definition is that you make content for a living. You don't have a 9 to 5. You don't have anything else going. Literally, you make content for a living on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You are fully invested in it, right? You're locked in. Like when you say you want to be a full time content creator, you literally are. Like everywhere you go, like you don't go a day without posting because if you don't post, you don't get paid. You don't get paid from social media. You don't get paid from your sponsors, right? So that's why when you hear full time content creator, a lot of people say I'm full. You're really not. If you're doing another job and this, no, like this is what you do all the time. That's what a full time content creator is, right? Someone who's just, hey, my bill's not getting paid if I'm not posting content. So that's not about when you how you feel, what's going on in your life, family life, and all that. Just like we all go to work. We all go to work, a typical 9 to 5, when you don't want to, because the bill's gonna get paid. Same thing. That is what a full time content creator is doing. So when that term is being thrown out there loosely, I don't like it. It's someone who's totally, totally committed to content creation. Like their bills are not getting paid if they are not making content. So now I don't know why I said number two, but part-time content creators, right, is what a lot of people are, meaning like they're monetizing part-time. That means you still may have a 9 to 5, you still may have another job, you still may have other sources of income, but part-time maybe 15, 20 hours a week, and I'll pull this slide up and make it a little bit bigger. Full-time creators, obviously over 20 hours a week, right? On content. That's what that is. Under 20 hours a week on content is considered part-time content creator. That means that you may be only recording a couple hours a week, you may be up to 20, but that's what a part-time content creator is, right? That's someone who's not totally invested, but you're invested enough. You still can make money off this. Don't get me wrong, you still make money, good money as a part-time creator, but you're not full-time. So there's a difference. There's a description there. Like, so understand full time, part time, full time, part time. And you see here, PS in the part one of this content creator report, 7 in 10 creators still maintain full time jobs. 70% of content creators still maintain full time jobs. What does that tell you? One, content creation can be done anytime, right? Content creation can be done after your job. It can be done during the weekends. If you're batching your content, you can literally, and then here's a tip for you. This is the breaking down for the people who are making the most money off social media, right? You're already getting an income from a 9 to 5. From 9 to 5, you're already getting that. Now on top of that, I'm making content on Saturday and I'm batching up 10 Instagram reels, 10 TikToks. I'm recording a YouTube vlog. I'm doing a lot of stuff on the weekend, and I'm making still money on the side. From the full-time job, from the content creation, from even potentially even helping other people do content creation, right? So content creators don't just necessarily mean that you're making money just from content creation from you, but you could be doing it for other people. I see in the chat we got a lot of people. What up, Deb? I see you said yes, it can be. You can still do that. She says, "Wow, oh my God!" Right? Yes, 70% of people are still making that full time job money. Now let's go to slide 2. Who are the top owners? Who are the top earners of content creation? Would you believe that 80% of the women creators identify as women? The top earners, 80% of the top earners identify as women. 80% of top content creators. Why is that? Why is that? Women are more marketable. Women sell more. Women have more influence. Women, really, get other women to buy products and things a lot easier than men do. This is what it's kind of telling us, right? 80% of the top earners are women. So that doesn't mean that the top earner is a woman. So let's just break that down. We already know the top earner, for example, on YouTube is, Mr. Beast. But we're talking about top TikTokers, top people on Instagram. Like 80% of them are women, right? And again, this is based off of a top survey by, the top content creators for this survey for layer.com. So what that's telling you is, again, women are the most powerful when it comes to marketability and selling products. So let's break this down too. Where are these people, right? Where are these top content creators? Let's talk about where are these top content creators. 67% of them are in the United States. So is that a surprise? Probably not. You know what I mean? Just because of the power of the United States, how influential we are in the other parts of the world. It's not a surprise that the top earners, the content creators, are primarily here. That's not a surprise. But we're talking about 67% are in the US, 9.5% in Canada, 8.6% in Europe, UK 5.9, Australia, then followed by Asia, Africa, Central Africa. I'm sorry, Central and South America. Those are also, so all these places have big earners in the content creation space, but we're just talking about where the majority of them are, and here in the US, right? So it's one of those things too. Don't think that you just have to do collaborations and content here in the United States or with people in the United States. You don't have to. It's a global thing. Everyone is doing it. Now, let's break this down by follower size. This is the part that I know a lot of you are going to be like, what? I'm shocked by this. Like, what? I want you to really, really dial in on this part, right? How much these content creators make is one thing, because we're going to get deeper into that. But also, who are these top earners and how many followers they have? Because everybody wants to worry about followers and how many followers you got. And that's the most influential and that's the most important. No, that doesn't mean you make the most money, right? So let's just zoom in a little bit on this article, this report, right? Let's start with just Instagram. Let's just focus on the first Instagram. I don't want you to look all over the place. Let's just focus on Instagram. Less than 10,000 followers, the top earners, 63% of them have less than 10,000 followers. I'm sorry, not less, but more than 10,000 followers, right? They have more than 10,000. 63% have more than 10,000 followers, right? So that's not saying that you have to have 200K followers, 300K followers. That's not accurate. I don't want you guys thinking like, oh my God, I'm not gonna make big money if I don't go viral and have 100K followers. That's not the case. The 63% of the top earners just have 10,000, right? So that's letting you know you're not that far off from being able to reach your goals and get paid and get these contracts, get influencer dollars. It goes back to a live I talked about the other day where you need to focus on your niche and you need to focus on reaching the people that in your particular audience, your community, get them to have high engagement because that's what companies want to pay for. They're all about the micro influencer, people who can get reactions, people who can get people to respond and set trends, right? People who are going to react, like they know they're going to get comments, they know they're going to get engagement. It's about that. It's about that. That's what they're looking for. It's a lot harder to deal with people with more than 100,000 followers sometime, or 500, which is 500K, which is like 0.2% of people. So don't even be stressing about that, right? But when you have a company, you say, hey, we have this many X dollars to go to ambassadors, they're more likely to put the money into somebody who has just 10,000 followers because of the fact that they're easier to work with, potentially because they're cheaper, and they're more likely 99% of the time going to have higher engagement because they have more time to respond to people. And it gets harder, and it's hard. And I'm not going to say like one day I may have 100,000 followers, right? But if I do, it's going to be hard for me to keep up with every single comment that I have. It's hard. So it's a hard job. So it's not a knock to people with more followers. I'm just telling you that it's harder to keep that engagement rate up because the more often you post and you get in more comments, it's a lot of time that goes into the stuff. So that's just focusing on Instagram. Same thing with Facebook. Again, 10,000 followers, 72% of the top earners on Facebook only have 10,000 followers. So it's letting you know, man, that's the majority of people on Facebook. Just sent out like you don't need 100,000 followers on Facebook to make good money. TikTok, the number drops a little bit to 63%, Pinterest 55%, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All those places, 10,000. Now, what's funny thing is about LinkedIn, we don't, as far as the part of the article, 52% of that you have, that means that maybe just half of the people with 10K followers make a lot of money off of like big money for content creation on there. LinkedIn, that number is going to grow because they just recently started to put more and more videos on there in the last year or two. They have LinkedIn Live. That number is going to grow over time. So don't worry about that part. Who are these people? Let's talk about who are the top earners are. Gen Z, 10%. That means if they're 18 to 24, 10% of these people are making the top earners as content creators. All right. Any millennials, that's us, 25 to 40, 67% of the money. 67% of top earners are us. That's people who are watching this, right? That's my target audience. This is my target audience right here. Millennials, 25 to 40. Do I have some Gen X? Yes, I do. But my main target is millennials. So 67% of my target audience is the highest earners of content creators. That does that make sense? That's why I will target, and that's why when I run my ads, and that's why when I'm trying to focus in, that's why right now we're broadcast live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. Twitch. Do you guys know what Twitch is? If you're watching this live on Twitch, it's because you're in my target audience, right? That that mid 20s to 40s. You're a video gamer. You like content. You like information. You like this type of stuff. Podcast. That's why we're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. But that's primarily why we're on Twitch because of that demographic. So you see at the bottom of my screen here, Fit with CJ on Instagram, CJ the Creator on Instagram, Twitter. Also, CJ Slayer X is the Twitch broadcast because this is actually being broadcast on Twitch, and Revo Fitness TV, which is on Facebook, right? So all these places is we are. But that's because of that niche there. Gen X, 18% of the highest earners. Boomers, 56 to 75 years old. Of course, we know that number is going to drop to 3%. And then under 18, there is a small percentage, but it's less than point of a half of a percent, and that's probably because a lot of parents don't want their kids on there, and it's just a lot harder to to manage that. And this it's a very delicate balance on how many kids under 18 will be allowed to even make this type of content. All right, and the next slide, race and that is what's Twitch? It's interesting. Twitch is I got the question in the chat here. Let me just go to that real quick. So Deb asks, what's Twitch? Twitch is a broadcasting streaming network that started years ago, primarily for video gamers, right? But it's become a media platform that has podcasts now, has live document like live shows, things like this, where you can literally go on right now, twitch.tv, and then you can literally watch people play video games, people do shows, podcasts. You can literally just watch people just live life. I've seen reality shows. People just turn on their camera, just do stuff. It is a broadcasting network, a media network That's totally free. And people make, I know full-time content creators on Twitch that literally just play video games. So that's the answer to that question. But that's a great question. What's Twitch? So going back into it, who are the primary top content creators? White Caucasian, 57%, right? Hispanic, 12%. Black and African American, 11%. Other, 10%. Asian, 7. And you got American Indians, less than 1%. So this is going to be, remember what we talked about earlier. Who are the primary people that are making the most money as content creators, and in what countries? We started with the United States being 67%, right? So this is going to be a reflection of that. Just as most income, it's kind of following that pattern, right? But to me, it is interesting to see that Hispanics are making a little bit more than the Black and African American community. That is an interesting stat for me to show that but for me, I look at it like I'm excited to be one of the people that I can say, you know what, I'm probably in that 11%. You know what I mean? I'm probably in that 11.37% for African Americans. So I'm super excited just about that, but I want that number to go higher. I want that, and I'm not picking and choosing, but as somebody who is going to represent his people, I'm always about, let's try to say, hey, how are we going to get that number up? It's because you're watching shows like this, because you're going to be inspired and working with people like me. Like, all right, cool. How do we get this number up? How do we get more earnings? That's why it's super important for me when I talked about, and what we watched the show the other day. If you watched my live, if you didn't, where we talked about sponsorships and ambassadorships, it's not always going to be super like super fun to talk about business stuff, but it's super vital and important to understand how to get corporate dollars and how to make the money work for you, how to get this money. Like, we want the money, we got to put in the work. Right now I'm on YouTube because I'm putting in the work, the groundwork to build this channel, so I can now get content money, not only from Instagram, which I already get paid from Instagram, right? I get paid from Instagram for private projects with Instagram, where I do stuff on the side with them, believe it or not, where I get directly money from Meta. Also, you can I was getting Reels bonuses, but now that's going to be switching to the ad revenue stuff with Instagram as that's being worked out. I actually have sponsorships that come from Instagram, with the Mizuno and different sponsors. So I have multiple layers of money coming from Instagram. Now we're on to YouTube, right? So it's all about how much money do content creators make in 2023. This is the first breakdown, because it's a long, drawn out article and like the whole breakdown. I just wanted you to start with the basis of it. That's what this series is going to be about. Tomorrow we're going to come in with part 2. We're going to break it down into some more numbers. Today, just a review, we talked about the race and ethnicity, who's making the most as far as when it comes to age range, how many followers you have to have, right? We talked about followers. We talked about which locations are the top earners are, and we talked about women primarily are the top content creators, right? As far as 80% of them are the top earners, and then we talk about full-time versus part-time creators. So with that said, if you guys have questions more about anything we have in these slides so far, let me know in the comment section. Make sure you watch this replay. I appreciate it. And then tomorrow we will be back live with more of this. We'll continue part 2 of this series. We'll have even more slides where we get into some more raw numbers. How much are these top content creators making? How much, let's get into the numbers. Let's get into those details, right? Today we went more to the demographics and the basis of it, the concept of all of that. But tomorrow we're going to get into those numbers. I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share with some people. Make sure we lock in and we build up this community. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.